So begin to notice the inhalations and the exhalations on the tip of the nostrils. And once again, find your way onto your back, lying down, knees bent, feet about hips width distance apart. Close the eyes and just breathe here. So I've been working on this breathing of just 3-part breath throughout the week, and 3-part breath is really a nice way for us to just start to tune into our body. So you start by breathing in from the pubis all the way to the belly, you pause. You breathe in from the belly to the chest, you pause. You breathe in from the chest all the way to the crown of the head, you release. And we'll do that again. So breathe in pubis to belly. Breathe in belly to chest. Breathe in chest to crown. Crown, release. And again. Breathe in pubis to belly. Breathe in belly to chest. Breathe in chest to crown. And release. And then from here, you'll take your hands, you'll place them behind the back of the head. You'll just begin to inhale, peeling up, and exhale, lowering down. Inhale, peeling up. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, peeling up. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, peeling up. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, peeling up here. This time you're going to lift the legs up towards the ceiling. You're going to lift the chest even more, and 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to release the feet down and release the head on down. Good. Going to do that again. Lift the head up and just do crunches here. 5 times. Good. Lift the legs up 5 times. Good. Bend the knees, release the head down, release the feet down. We're going to do it one more time. So lift the head up 5 times here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Lift the legs up 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from here, release the feet down, release the head on down. Excellent. You'll roll your body over the right side. You'll press your way up. You'll come into, or rather onto your hands and your knees. Spread across the fingers. As you root the fingers down, begin to lengthen through the chest. Let the collarbones draw back as you draw the belly on in. As you exhale, tuck the toes underneath, float the knees back, downward facing dog pose. So downward facing dog pose, walk the feet back. See that the feet are hips width distance apart. See that the knees are slightly bent here. So spread across the fingers. Continue to press through the thumb and the forefinger. Engage the outer arms in and lengthen the thigh bones back, all the way to the hamstrings. As you continue to lengthen back, feel the heels drawing back. Good. Shift forward into plank pose. So keep pressing those heels back. Belly's engaged. Sternum's lengthening forward. As you exhale, press through the tops of the fingers. Release the head on down. Wrap the outer arms in. Continue to breathe here with a light bend in those knees. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. So again, plank pose, the heels are pressing back. Thighs are drawing to the ceiling. Belly's engaged. Exhale, press those hips back. Downward facing dog pose. Lengthen through those heels. And again, shift forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. So really feel the engagement of the core muscles here. Keep letting those thighs lift up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing those fingers down towards the mat. So you exhale once again. Downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog pose. Walk the feet forward towards the hands. Inhale, lengthen through the chest, heart, and sternum. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way forward. Good. Take the hands to the low back. See that the elbows are facing the ceiling here. Allow the collarbones to spread wide apart. Press to the tops of the feet. Inhale, peel the chest on up. Find your way to standing. So as you come to standing, spread across the feet. So let the toes spread wide apart. See that the 4 corners of the feet are pressing down. Thigh bones are lengthening. Thigh bones are drawing back. Belly's hugging in. Inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana pose. As we take Urdhva Hastasana pose, continue to see that the belly is engaged here. Let the frontal ribs soften down as you lift through the back ribs. Wrap the outer triceps in here, and continue to firm the thigh bones back as you continue to press the thigh bones back as you firm the buttocks in. As you exhale here, release the palms to the sides. Tadasana pose, Samastiti. Inhale, float the arms up one more time. So once again here, as we press down through the feet, see that all four corners of the feet are pressing down. Feel the inner legs lifting up. Feel the outer thighs hugging in. Continue to hug the belly in as you lengthen through those side ribs. The frontal ribs are softening here as we lift through the back ribs. As you exhale, release the hands down to the sides. Good. You're going to begin to move through a flow here. So as you inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe the palms touch. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down. Inhale, lengthening through the chest here. As you exhale, take the hands to the mat. Walk the feet back, plank pose. Plank pose, lowering the knees down to the mat. Still hug the belly in. As you bend the elbows into the chest, lengthen the sternum on forward. Release the chest down towards the mat. Good. Walk the hands back so that the palms are directly underneath the elbows. Continue to press the fingers forward as if you're dragging the mat towards the back of the room. Hug the outer elbows in. Feel the collarbones spread wide apart here as you begin to lengthen through the sternum. Shoulder blades move into the center chest. As you exhale, tuck the toes underneath. Press down through the feet. Float the legs back, downward facing dog pose. So downward facing dog pose, we spread the feet wide apart. We spread the fingers wide apart here. Continue to engage the belly. Feel those thigh bones lengthening on back. Good. Looking forward, walking the feet forward towards the hands. As you inhale, lengthen through the chest. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Inhale, floating the arms up towards the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana pose. And as you exhale, release the arms out to the sides. Inhale, floating the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Maybe the fingers touch as you exhale, hinging at the hips, releasing the chest down towards the mat. Inhale, lengthening through the sternum, collarbones spread wide apart. As you exhale, planting the fingers back, walking the feet back, finding your way into plank pose. Plank pose, spread across the fingers. Once again, feel the shoulders moving over the wrists. Feel the belly hugging in. Heels are pressing back. Thigh bones are lifting. As you exhale, lower those knees down to the mat. Again, lower the chest down to the mat here. So we walk the hands back. We allow for the fingers to spread wide apart. See that the thumb and the forefinger are pressing down firmly, and inhale, begin to peel up the chest here. So the shoulder blades move into the center chest. The collarbones are spread wide apart. Now keeping this action and continuing to hug the elbows in, maybe begin to straighten the arms here. So the arms straighten, the chest moves forward of the shoulders, and you lengthen the chest up. Maybe float the legs on up. As you exhale, floating the legs back, downward facing dog pose. Adho Mukha Shavasana. So Adho Mukha Shavasana pose, the toes are spread wide apart, the fingers are spread wide apart. The inner and outer heels continue to lengthen towards the back of the mat. The calves move towards the shins, but the thigh bones continue to lengthen towards the hamstrings. And once again, looking forward in between the hands, walking the feet forward to the front of the mat. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward, and as you exhale, release the spine on down. With a light bend in the knees, inhale, float the arms up towards the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, take the arms back out into the sides. One more time, inhale, floating the arms up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and folding on down. Inhale, lengthening. As you exhale, take the hands to the mat. Walk the feet back, plank pose again. So spread across the fingers here. Continue to let the inner arms move forward. Continue to let the outer arms drive back. Feel the shoulders spreading across the back. Continue to engage your core muscles here. Continue to press those thigh bones back. You can release the knees down. If you'd like, you can shift the shoulders forward of the wrists. Bend the elbows down halfway. Pause here. See that the arms are hugging in. See that the fingers are spread. Inhale as you press through the fingers. Lift the chest. Upward facing dog. As you exhale, float the hips back. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog pose. Continue to spread across the fingers. Continue to lengthen through the heels. And again, light bend in those knees so the calves are moving slightly towards the shins. Thighs are most certainly moving towards the hamstrings. Float the right leg up. So the right leg floats up towards the back of the room. Right toes are flexed. Right outer hip pins in. Allow that left outer hip to grow longer here, and there can be a light bend in that left knee. Draw the right knee into the chest, shoulders over wrist here. So there's a light round of the spine as you drive that right knee forward and breathe. As you exhale, lengthen that right leg on back and continue to press or spread across the fingers as you lengthen through those side ribs. Again, right knee draws into the chest, shoulders over wrist, step the right foot in between the hands this time. So the right foot steps forward, place the right foot in between the hands. Spin the left heel down, take the hands to the hips, inhale, find your way into warrior two legs. So the right heel tracks with the right knee tracks with the second toe. The right heel is in line with the left arch of the foot. Arms extend out to the sides. So from here, let's straighten through the right leg. Take the hands to the hips again. And just first start with the legs. So we want to make sure that the leg is in an anatomical alignment. The right foot is in line with the right knee, is in line with the right hip. The left arch of the foot is directly in the center of the mat as well. So the ball of the foot and the heel are on either sides. We bend deeply into that right knee. So the right knee tracks over the second toe. We hug the right outer buttocks in. So we firm the buttocks in. The right buttocks moves in towards the midline of the body. As that happens, we need to continue to press into the pinky toe side of the left foot and extend the arms out to the sides. Good. From here, release the right forearm onto the right thigh crease. Inhale, float the left arm up. So as you bend deeply into that right knee, allow the right shin to come parallel to become parallel with the wall. Allow the right thigh to become parallel with the floor. Continue to allow the left outer hip to hug in. Inhale, float the left arm up. Find your way back into warrior two pose. Turn the right fingers up towards the ceiling. Float the right arm up. So as you bend deeply into that right knee, the right hip lifts off the right thigh crease. As you exhale here, right forearm comes back onto the right thigh. Inhale, float the left arm up towards the ceiling. So continue to press through the pinky toe side of the left foot. Allow the left arm to drive back to the back of the room. Spin the left palm down to the mat and then extend the left arm up and over the head. The outer left arm wraps into the ear. The inner right chest begins to revolve up towards the ceiling here. Maybe you bend deeper into that right knee. Feel the left heel engaged. Feel the left arm extended. Inhale, float the left arm up. Warrior two pose, straighten through the right leg. One more time, bend into that right knee. Take both hands down to the mat. Step your right leg to meet the left. Shift forward into plank pose. Plank pose, you have the option of lowering the knees down, or you can join me, shifting the shoulders forward of the wrists. Bend those elbows halfway. Pause here. Inhale, peel up the chest as you straighten the arms all the way. Chest moves through the shoulder blades. And then as you exhale, float those legs back. Downward facing dog pose. So again, in downward facing dog pose, we feel the arms lengthening towards the front of the room, but we feel the legs lengthening to the back of the room. As you feel ready here, inhale, float the left leg up. The left leg floats on up. The left outer hip pins in. You can feel the right outer thigh driving back to the back of the mat as well. Now, draw the left knee into the chest. See that the shoulders move over the wrist around the spine here. So engage your core muscles, engage your belly. Inhale, extending that left leg on back again. So we flex the left foot in order to create a further extension to the left side body. As you exhale, left knee draws to the chest. Step the left foot in between the hands. Spin the right foot down. See that your left heel is in line with the right arch of the foot. Inhale, float the hands to the hips. Straighten through the left leg. So again, we may need to realign ourselves here because the right foot needs to turn in slightly. The left knee needs to be in line with the left ankle, left foot. So we want to make sure that everything is in a single plane. You'll bend deeply into that left knee here. Press to the right outer foot. So the left shin is parallel with the wall. The left leg is parallel with the floor. The arms extend out to the sides and are lengthening from the chest. We press to the outer side of the right foot, and we see that both side ribs are lengthening out towards the armpits. So feel the backs of the shoulders spreading wide apart. From here, left forearm comes to left thigh crease. Right arm extends up towards the ceiling. So already here, we're beginning to feel that extension through the side body. Right arm lengthens up. Left side body lengthens to the armpit. Keep pressing through the outer side of the right foot. Inhale, float the right arm back up. So warrior two pose. Warrior two, place the right hand on the right thigh crease. Left arm extends up towards the ceiling. Reverse the warrior. Allow the left hip to drive off of the left thigh. So the left hip lifts up off of the left thigh. Once again, left forearm comes to the left thigh crease, right arm up towards the ceiling. Continue to press into the pinky toe side of the right foot. Now glide the right thumb to the back of the room. Draw the right arm down towards the floor, and then begin to extend the right arm up and over the head. So the right outer arm begins to wrap towards the thumb side of the finger. Begin to look up at those fingers. Maybe bend more deeply into that left leg. Feel the left outer hip pinning in. Inhale, right arm extends up towards the ceiling. Let that right arm lift us back up, and then take both hands down to the mat. Step the left leg back to meet the right. Find your way into plank. Chaturanga Dandasana if you'd like. Urdhva Mukha Shavasana. Exhale. Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward facing dog pose. So again, downward facing dog pose, we see that the toes are spread wide apart. We feel the inner and outer arches of the foot lifting up, similar to Tadasana. Once again, creating all that length in the inner legs, pressing down through the outer legs here, and breathing. Good. Once again, you're going to float the right leg up. Right knee draws to the chest, shoulders over wrists. Step the right foot in between the hands. Spin the left heel down. Already begin to see that the right hip is firming in towards the midline of the body. Press down through the left outer foot. Inhale, float the arms up, warrior two pose. From warrior two pose, straighten through the right leg. Hands come onto the hips. As you place the hands on the hips, begin to see that your right knee once again is in line with the right ankle, the right foot. Right outer hip is hugging in. From here, we extend our arms out to the sides. Begin to hinge at that right hip. As you hinge at the right hip, see that the left hip is firming in as well. Right hand releases down the right shin. Left arm extends up towards the ceiling. Wrap the outer right tricep in. As you press to the right ball of the foot, firm the right buttocks in towards the midline. So see that the right outer thigh is revolving in towards the inner thigh, but feel the right outer hip firming in. Now press to the left outer side of the foot and continue to lengthen the right side of the chest forward. Crown of the head is long. Inhale, float the left arm up. Again, bend deeply into that right knee. From here, if you'd like, you can place the right hand inside of the right leg. So this is our classical Partial Konasana. Maybe placing the hand on a block here. Once again, you're going to see that the right outer knee firms into the right tricep here. See that the right tricep firms back to the right shoulder. Inhale, float the left arm up again. So as you press through the pinky toe side of the left foot, begin to spin the left thumb down towards the floor, engage your core muscles, and then lengthen your left arm out through the left rib cage. Allow the chest to lengthen, allow the body to extend. Good, breathe here. All right, from here, inhale, float that arm back up. Keep pressing to the left outer side of the foot. Inhale, find your way back into warrior two pose. One more time, straighten through the right leg. Hinge at that right hip. Release the right hand down inside the leg. Float the left arm up towards the ceiling. So 5 breaths here. Continue to firm the outer legs in. Continue to feel the belly engaged here. Soften through the frontal ribs, but feel the elongation all the way out through both fingers, through both legs. So really in this pose, it's a concentration on the elongation through the entire body, especially the side ribs and the center chest. Inhale, float that left arm up again. As you exhale, bend deeply into that right knee. Take the hands down to the mat. Glide the right leg back. Find your way back into plank pose. Plank pose, this time we hold for a moment. So we firm the outer legs in. We feel the belly engaged, the core engaged. And we continue to feel those inner arms lengthening forward as the inner heels lengthen back. Now release those knees down to the mat. Lower the chest all the way down. Inhale, peeling up through the chest, heart, and sternum. And as you exhale, pressing the legs on back, downward facing dog pose. And again, downward facing dog pose here. Just begin to feel those legs growing back towards the back of the mat. The legs are strong here. The fingers are spread wide apart. The head releases all the way down, and you breathe as you spread across the fingers. So fingers are spreading, head is releasing, inner arms are lifting, outer arms are releasing. Good. And then from here, we float the left leg up. Left leg floats up. And as you exhale, left knee draws into the chest. Shoulders over wrist. Step the left foot in between the hands. Now spin the right heel down. Walk the left toes over to the right a step or so. And see that the left heel is in line with the right arch of the foot. Pin the left hip in. So the left hip continues to draw in towards the plumb line of the body. As you inhale, float the arms up and out to the sides, warrior two pose. We straighten through the left leg. Let's take our hands to the hips for another moment. So once again here, we want to see that the left heel is in line with the right arch of the foot. And the reason for this is because our hips need to move in a slight external rotation, and this creates a little bit more space for our hips to move. So as you continue to breathe here, you'll bend slightly into that left knee. Let the left calf move towards the left shin. Let the left outer hip firm in. As you hinge at those hips, release the left hand down the left leg, extend the right arm up towards the ceiling. So as you take Utthita Trikonasana, press firmly into the outer feet here. So see that the right pinky toe side of the foot is pressing down. Feel the right outer thigh firming in. Good. And as you lengthen through the left side of the chest, feel the left big toe mound drawing down. Feel the left outer hip hugging in. Inhale, float that right arm up. As you exhale, bend deeply into the left knee. Here, we hinge at the hips just like we did a moment ago. And we take our left hand this time inside of the leg, right arms up towards the ceiling. So you may here place the left hand down on the mat, or you can even place the left hand on a block. See that the left knee bends parallel to the floor. See that the left outer hip pins in. Drive the right fingers back to the back of the moon. Press firmly down through the right outer pinky toe side of the foot, and then lengthen through the right fingers all the way up and out to the ceiling. So continue to engage here as you press to that right heel. Feel the left side ribs lengthening forward. Feel the left knee bending. Left knee is parallel to the wall. Left thigh is parallel to the floor. Inhale, float the right arm back up, and then glide that arm up as you come back into warrior two. Straighten through the left leg again. So press through the left ball of the foot. Spin the left outer hip in. Drive the left buttocks in towards the midline of the body. As you lengthen arm forward, release the left hand down the leg, right arm up towards the ceiling. 5 breaths. So we start with our feet, and we see that our feet are pressing down, especially the left big toe mound of the foot. As that big toe mound of the foot presses down, the left outer hip draws back. Now see that the right outer side of the foot is drawing down, and feel the right outer thigh pressing back to the back of the mat as well. Lengthen the left side of the chest here. Let the head release back slightly. Extend through the right fingers. Inhale, float the right arm back up. Bend deeply into that left knee. As you exhale, windmill the hands down to the mat. Step your left leg back. Find your way into plank pose. Good. Lower the knees down, lower the chest all the way down to the mat. So as the chest lowers down onto the mat, you'll take your hands and you'll walk your fingers back so that your fingers are in line with your side ribs. As your fingers are in line with your side ribs, spin the fingers so that the palm side of the hand is facing the ceiling. As you continue to breathe here, begin to take your shoulders back. So you're going to, even with the forehead on the ground, you're going to begin to lift the shoulders away from the ears and spread them, walk them down the spine. As you press down to the tops of the feet, inhale, begin to peel the chest up. So already here, we feel the elbows are hugging in and the center chest is lifting up. Good. So you press down through the fingers. As you press down through the left foot, hug the right outer thigh in. So feel that left foot pressing down. Breathe here as you draw the belly in towards the center chest. Lengthen through the crown of the head as you breathe here. As you exhale, release that right foot on down. So here, once again, the shoulders are lengthening. The collarbones are spreading wide apart. The belly is hugging in. As you press down through the right foot, again, you're engaging the core muscles here. You're lengthening the backs of the legs to the heels. And you're breathing here as you're lifting those inner legs up. So feel all the weight traveling towards the legs, even from the chest. As you exhale, lower the head down, lower the chest down. Release the shoulders all the way down to the mat. Okay, so one more time. You're going to begin to lengthen on up. Breathe here. So the collarbones begin to lift off the floor. The elbows begin to draw in. The chest begins to lift on up. Good. You lift the left toes this time first. Hug the left outer thigh in. You lift the right toes up. So now both feet are lifted off the mat. You can feel the pinky toe side of the foot rounding down towards the floor. The buttocks flesh is lengthening towards the heels. The arms are extending back along the sides of the hip bones. So continue to breathe here as you lengthen on back. Hug the belly in, and as you exhale, lower that head on down again. Now take your hands, place your hands along the side ribs. Inhale, begin to peel the chest on up. Float the chest up. Exhale, pressing the thigh bones back, downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog pose, spreading across the fingers here. And continuing to breathe. So again, here as you spread across the fingers, inner forearms lifting up, outer thighs are pressing back, inner thighs are pressing back as you breathe. Walk the feet forward to the hands. Find your way into Ardha Uttanasana. So the hands can come to the shins here if you'd like. See that the calves move towards the shins. See that the thighs move towards the hamstrings. Continue to lengthen through those side ribs. So just like a moment ago, we felt the collarbones spreading wide apart. The shoulders are lengthening in. So we actually have to draw in through the belly here slightly, even in this pose, as we begin to lift the chest on up. Good. Then from here, begin to take the arms, bend those knees, and float the arms up towards the ceiling. Begin to straighten the legs here. Urdhva Hastasana poses. You exhale, take the arms out to the sides. Samastiti. Tadasana. Let's take our hands to the hips and step our feet wide apart. With the feet stepped wide apart, see that the feet are parallel. Right leg faces the left leg faces the right, like they're mirrors of each other. As you press into the big toe mounds of the feet, feel the inner thighs pressing back, feel the outer thighs engaged, hugging in. As you take the hands, glide the hands down the legs, release the head all the way down to the mat. Bring the hands down towards the floor. Maybe walk the hands back towards the heel of the foot so that the heel of the palm is in line with the heel of the foot. You could come up high onto the fingertips if you'd like. Now, as you continue to lengthen the chest forward, bend the knees slightly. Feel the calves moving towards the shins. Feel the outer thighs hugging in towards the inner thighs. So the legs start to grow longer here. And maybe you can release the head a little bit further down towards the mat. Now lengthen through the chest again. Walk the fingers forward. Inhale, peel up the chest here. Press through the outer feet. Take the hands to the hips. Inhale, peel the chest, and find your way to standing. Good. Walk the feet back in. Find your way to the center of the mat, Samastitihi. Samastitihi, float the arms up towards the ceiling. So first of all, start by taking your fingers and see that the fingers are facing the front of the mat. Then begin to lengthen your fingers forward in front of you so that the pinkies are facing one another. Then begin to extend the arms up towards the ceiling. See that the belly is driving in. See that the frontal ribs are moving towards the frontal hip bones. And then begin to bend the knees here for Utkatasana chair pose. So as you take Utkatasana chair pose, the outer thighs are revolving towards the inner thighs. Shins are still moving calves are still moving to the shins, belly still hugging in. As you exhale here, release the torso down. As you inhale, lengthen through the chest, and one more time, walking the feet back, finding your way into plank pose. Plank pose, you have the option of moving straight to downward facing dog or lowering the knees down to the mat, moving through a vinyasa, or shifting forward, lowering down halfway. Inhale, peeling up, and then exhale, pressing back for downward facing dog. So downward facing dog pose, once again, we see that the feet are hips width distance apart. We see that the hands are shoulders width distance apart. Drive the right leg up towards the back of the mat. Hug the right knee into the chest. Step the right foot forward in between the hands. Spin the left heel down. Walk the right toes over to the left side of the mat. Inhale. Put the arms up for warrior two pose. Let's take the hands to the hips again. Okay. So one more time, we want to see that the right heel is in line with the right knee is in line with the second toe. So as you bend deeply into this right knee, so the right shin becomes parallel with the wall, the right thigh becomes parallel with the floor, the arms begin to extend out to the sides. All right. And then from here, let's float the arms up towards the ceiling. So just take the arms up towards the ceiling. See that the left side of the chest is facing the front of the room. Continue to let the weight of the sit bones release down to the mat here. As you exhale, glide the hands back out to the sides. Good.
Straighten through the right leg again, and one more time, hinge at the hips and release the right hand down the right leg. Left outer buttocks turns in. From here, you're going to begin to look up towards that left hand, and then glide the left hand behind the back so the left hand begins to place on the left hip crease. Now look forward towards the floor and see that your right toes are spread wide apart. See that the right ball of the foot's pressing down. See that the right heel is pressing down. Begin to bend into that right knee. Right knee bends to parallel to the floor, parallel to the wall rather, and take your right hand outside of the leg. So you can pause here. We can actually stay here the entire time. Right outer hip firms in and breathe here. Some of us will begin to step the left leg forward and bring the right hand forward to the mat once again. So you may even be here. You may just hug in the belly and just squeeze as you look towards the right fingers and spread across those right toes. Some of us may begin to shift the weight forward into that right hand as you float the left leg up. Now, the left outer hip turns in. So this hip right here begins to revolve down towards the mat. We spin that left leg down. Good, as you breathe here and hug the belly in. That's it. And then from here, you can release the head back slightly and inhale, float up the left arm. So as the left arm floats on up, maybe begin to see if you can have any more length through the side ribs here as you breathe. As you exhale, you're going to bend deeply into that right knee. Release the right foot down and take yourself back into a triangle pose. Triangle pose, inhale, float the arms up. Bend deeply into that right knee and then bring both hands down to the mat. Step the right leg back to meet the left leg. Find your way into plank pose here. From plank pose, once again, you can move through vinyasa or straight into downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog pose, spread across the fingers, spread across the toes. Feel the legs lengthening back, feel the arms lengthening forward. Release the head on down. So we take a moment here to pause. It's almost like a child's pose, if you will. Some of us may even want to take a child's pose for a moment. But it's the same type of mentality. You're just releasing the body down as you're floating those hips on up. You'll take the left foot. You'll step the left foot in between the hands. Spin the right heel down. Walk the left toes to center. Pin the left outer hip in. So as you feel ready, pressing down through the right outer pinky toe side of the foot, inhale, float the arms up for warrior two. Let's straighten through that left leg again. So we straighten through the left leg really to see our alignment in the pose. You want to see that your left heel is lined up with the right arch of the foot. Then from here, we begin to extend the arms out to the sides. Once again, we hinge at that left hip and we find our way into Trikonasana, Utthita Trikonasana. So we press through the left ball of the foot. We firm the left outer buttocks in. Press through the right outer foot and lengthen through the right fingers. Now take the right hand, bend at the right elbow, place the right hand behind the back. Look towards those left toes and begin to bend into that left knee. Take the left hand outside of the foot, step the right foot in. Take the left hand outside of the foot again and begin to float the right leg up. As you press through the inner and outer side of the left leg, inhale, float the right arm up. See that the right hip spins down towards the mat. See that the right center chest begins to lift up towards the ceiling. Hug the belly in, lengthen through the chest and breathe here. Maybe even look up towards those fingers. As you exhale, light bend in that left knee. Softly release that right leg on down. Find your way back into Trikonasana. From Trikonasana, begin to bend deeply into that left knee. And then release the hands down to the mat. Step the left leg back to meet the right. Find your way back through plank, Chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Downward facing dog pose, release the knees down onto the mat. Take the feet about hips width distance apart, release the head all the way down towards the ground. Child's pose. All right. So from child's pose, we're going to begin to set up for inversion. So we're going to be taking headstand today. For those of us who are not taking headstand, so there's some contraindications to headstand. If you have a history of head or neck injury, if you have had glaucoma or stroke, or you have some type of eye issue like glaucoma or detached retina, or some other form where ocular pressure could be an issue, or maybe you have a blood pressure issue, then you're just going to take your legs up the wall. So to take the legs up the wall, you take your hips, you bring your hips right next to the wall, And then you begin to float your legs all the way up the wall. So your hips come to the wall, and then you float your legs all the way up the wall, just like this. So this is the pose to take if you're not going to be moving into the next part of the sequence. Otherwise, we're going to begin to take dolphin's pose. So we're going to start there. So to take dolphin's pose, you bring your fingers, you interlace your fingers here, and you walk your feet back, and you find your way into a forearm plank variation pose. So we wrap the fingers in. We begin to root down from the fingers all the way to the forearm, all the way to the inner elbow, and we take the tailbone down. So there's a lengthening happening here. The tailbone's lengthening towards the heels, the inner thighs are lifting, the belly's hugging in, very similar to all the actions in plank. As you exhale, begin to walk the feet in, begin to walk the feet in, begin to walk the feet in. Find your way into dolphin's pose. So dolphin's pose is a true sign to see if you can go upside down. You're going to press down through the wrist. You're going to press down through the forearms. You're going to press down through the fingers. You're going to feel those shoulders lifting up off the body as you press those thigh bones back. As you exhale, walk the feet back again and find your way into forearm plank pose. So once again, we take forearm plank. We hold here. Hug the belly in. Continue to press down through the forearm, wrist, and fingers. Spread across the shoulders. Lengthen through the chest. Press through the heel of the foot. One more time. Walk those feet in, walk those feet in, walk those feet in. Dolphin's pose. So again, here you'll notice if the dolphin's pose starts to become rather difficult now, you may want to consider just taking your legs up the wall. You may not want to move into the variation of headstand. So just an awareness to take. You don't want to take headstand if you don't have the strength in the shoulders and the arms. It's very important here. And then as you exhale, release the knees on down and find your way into child's pose. So take the arms forward to the back, release the head on down and breathe. And then inhale, lift on up. So to move into Shirshasana headstand, you want to make sure that you have some type of cushioning. So sometimes we use our mat, and other times we'll use just a blanket. For today, I'm just going to be using a blanket. And you want to make sure it's a somewhat or thicker blanket, just so that you're able to have the support in your arms and your hands. Then you want to learn how to find the crown of your head. So you're going to take your hands, your pointer fingers, you're going to glide your fingers up all the way to the top of the head. You'll feel a soft point at the very top of the head, and you'll know that that's the point. Because if you go forward of that point, you'll feel like it's rounded there. And if you go back of that point, you'll feel like it's rounded. But just in that point, for whatever reason, it feels very soft. And that point, because I think it's where all the brain, all the skull, it fuses together. That's like where it all fuses together. So that's where the crown of the head is. Then what's going to happen is we're going to interlace the fingers just like this, and we're going to take the forearms to the back of the head. Draw the elbows in. So one of the most common mistakes in this pose is people spread the elbows wide apart, and it puts too much pressure on the shoulders. Here, if you can, you're going to bring those elbows in, and this should hopefully alleviate any pressure in those shoulders. So that's one thing that we can do in order for us to not have any pressure in the shoulders. Then, and for me, I like to tuck in at least a part of my shirt, just because otherwise the shirt will, come up over the head. Here, you interlace the fingers and you press the fingers into the wall. So then you take your head down to the mat, and you place your head right along the back edge of those the heel of the palm. So you rest your head there, and then you take your legs up, just like this. So now you'll know if you're ready. If this doesn't feel good, then please don't go any further. If it feels okay, you may want to consider lifting your right leg up and kicking it up to the wall. If you do that and it feels like you're unstable, please don't do that. Just find your way into the next pose. There's many ways. It just takes time, but you just have to build up your arm strength. It's really about the arm strength and the leg strength here. So once you kind of have that, then what you're going to do is the buttocks to the wall, right?
And then you're going to take your heels, you're going to place your heels on the wall, but your buttocks is off the wall. And now you walk the toes on up. Press down through the hands, press down through the forearms, press down through the fingers. Take the thigh bones back, take the buttocks in. And as you continue to breathe here, see that you keep wrapping those outer thighs in. Let the belly hug in here as you continue to breathe. So see that the shoulders see that the side ribs continue to lengthen towards the hip bones. Feel the head pressing on down. Feel the eyes soft here. Continue to wrap those outer armpits in. So we take this pose anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. And the reason why we take headstand is because it restores the whole body. So headstand is, believe it or not, it's a pose that brings stability into the entire body. The belly hugs in. The tailbone lengthens up towards the heels. Maybe the heels lift up so that the heels come slightly away from the wall. That's only if you feel like you've developed the balance here in the pose. So eventually by lifting through the back body, you can almost feel that your heels come away from the wall. Thigh bones continue to draw back. Belly continues to engage as you breathe. Wrap the outer armpits in. Good. As you feel ready, if you took your feet away from the wall, you can bring them back to the wall for a moment. To come out of the pose, you just release the right leg down, and then the left. And then you'll find your way into child's pose. So just begin to breathe here as you find your way into child's. Release the head on down. All right, and from child's pose, what you're going to do, is you're going to take your, sorry about that. Got a little guy running across. All right, from child's pose, what you're going to do is you're going to take your feet and you're going to bring your feet down to the mat, just like how we started with today. And then you're going to take your hands and you're going to bring your hands to the outer edges of the mat. So you're going to press down through the feet. You're going to take your shoulder, your left upper arm under, your right upper arm under, so your triceps begin to roll under you. Then from here, you press down through the tops of the feet, so the toes are spread wide apart. As you press down through the balls of the feet and the heels, you begin to feel the buttocks lifting up off the mat. And once again, the shins are parallel with the wall. The thighs, well, they're not quite parallel with the floor here, but what happens is the thighs press down in towards the hamstrings. The belly hugs in, and it creates a really long spine here. So when that belly hugs in, it kind of creates some length and stability in the pose. And you just continue to breathe here. So this is called Satubandha Sarvangasana, or bridge pose. And as you exhale, lower that pelvis on down. And we're going to do that again. So spread across the feet. Press down through the four corners of the foot. Inhale, begin to float the pelvis on up. Lengthen the tailbone to the backs of the knees. Lengthen or bring the shins all the way towards the calves. And then from here, release the head on down. Continue to wrap those outer arms in. Continue to breathe here as you feel the chest moving towards the chin. And as you exhale, release the pelvis on down.
Good, and from here, you'll take your block, place your block on the lowest setting under the back. If you don't have a block, consider just extending your feet towards the ceiling here. I would strongly recommend grabbing a block. They're very inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon. I think I have a link on my Facebook page if you have any interest in getting the props. And from here, you're just going to draw the right knee into the chest and lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. So only the right leg. You know, we can do both legs eventually, but right thigh extends away from you, left foot presses down, left outer hip hugs in, right heel to the ceiling, and breathe. And release the right foot down. And the left knee draws into the chest. So start out by the left knee drawing in, press down to the right ball of the foot, press down to the right heel, lift the left leg on up towards the ceiling. So again here, feel the left heel drawing away from you, feel the left hip moving away, press down to the right ball of the foot, continue to engage the core, the belly here. So you breathe. And as you exhale, lower that foot down. All right. So we can try for a moment. You can just bring both knees to a bent position. You can stay here. Some of us will begin to extend just the right leg up with a left bent knee and release. Some of us will begin to extend just the left leg up and release. Some of us will begin to try to extend both legs up. So keep pressing down, keep taking the thighs towards the hamstrings. Keep taking the shins towards the calves, keep flexing the feet here. So the weight's like in the legs, just like downward facing dog. As you exhale, lower the feet down towards the mat. Press down through the feet, lift the pelvis up, move the block away from the tail. Take the arms out to the sides, simple twist. Glide both knees over to the right side of the room. Knees come back to center. Bring both knees over to the left side of the room. Both knees back to center. Now if you want, you can take your blocks, you can place them on either side of the legs, just taking a moment here in Supta Baddha Kona, Supta Baddha Konasana, supported bound angle pose. And releasing here.
And then just take your legs and extend them all the way forward in front of you. Rest the arms out to the sides and breathe here. And just let go. And you'll take your arms over the head. You'll point your toes to the front of the mat. You'll bend the knees. You'll release the legs over onto one side. Release the legs over onto a side. Press your hands down. Inhale, lift the chest on up. Find your way into a seated position.
So again, here we come into a seated position. We cross our legs. Lift the chest. Bring the hands to the center chest. Exhale, release the head towards the chest. Lift the head, open the eyes. Namaste. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this morning's practice, Vinyasa Flow, all levels. Really, really nice practice today. If you guys are interested to stick around, just a couple quick announcements. Thank you guys so much. A couple ways you guys can help out are thumbs up or heart sign. If you enjoy the page, just helps to let other people know. Commenting, checking in, letting me know how you're doing is really nice as well. I love to hear from you guys. And also, if you feel like Venmo contributions, I'm always grateful for those. They help out with things like lighting, sound, color, audio, video, etc. So I hope that all of you have a fantastic rest of your day. I hope that you're well. I hope that you're happy. Namaste, yogis. Our next class is tomorrow at 9 a.m. We still have a couple more classes today, so if you're on YouTube, please find your way to Facebook. All the classes are live streaming on Facebook. I obviously upload them all to YouTube after I load them on Facebook. So I wish all of you an incredible rest of your day. Be well, be happy, my friends. Namaste. Thank you.